Welcome back to the show. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning. Slight smoke, that's good. Although Environment Canada says the wind may shift and we may get some more of that BC smoke in the coming days. But it is beautiful today. We're going to take it. My guest this morning is the chair of the 2018 United Way Community Campaign. Ken Sandmoen is with us this morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Russell.
How are you feeling? I mean, you're weeks away from the campaign starting. Is the therapy going well?
We're excited, and yes, the therapy, we're going to need some, but it's exciting. There's a lot of excitement out there about it. I'm excited about it, and we know a lot of the workplaces are excited about it. We're getting a lot of community excitement about it, so we're looking forward to it.
Our conversation off the air around your education about the United Way is a very similar education to the one that I had. And you've been with the board highly involved for about a year and a half now. Talk about the light bulb coming on about, oh my gosh, this is really important.
Right. So I guess it goes back to how I got involved with the United Way. We bought a house up here 3 years ago, and my next door neighbor was a fellow named John Evans, who was quite involved with the United Way. And actually, I'd worked with John a number of years ago in another location, and we rekindled our friendship right away. And through that, John asked me and said, would you like to come on one of these Seeing is Believing tours with the United Way? Well, I didn't know what a Seeing Believing tour was, and I had very limited knowledge of what the United Way was. So I went with him on a Seeing is Believing tour, and we went out to the Mark Amy Treatment Center. And I guess that's when the light bulb went on that, wow, this is pretty impactful what the United Way does. Even at that point, I still wasn't quite sure what they fully did. Met with John a couple other times and discussed it, met with some other United Way members and discussed it, and was ultimately asked to join the board. And through the first couple meetings and first number of months, I really started learning what the United Way did, and got very, very excited about it, and quite involved, and I'm glad to be part of it. And it was just a turnaround for me to understand what they did.
Of course, United Way is your volunteer life. Your work life is with Aluma Safeway. What's your role with that company?
So I'm the general manager for Fort McMurray for Aluma Safeway. Been up here for 3 years with them. I've been with Aluma Safeway since 2004, so 14 years in a few locations, Calgary, Ottawa, and now Fort McMurray.
What is the approach that you take corporately to connecting with community?
So we always had a fairly large community involvement in Ottawa and Calgary. And then when I moved up here to Fort McMurray, what I thought was a large community involvement there was nothing compared to what Aluma Safeway did in Fort McMurray. My predecessor, when he left, Mick Herc, the one of the pieces of advice he gave me was, whatever you do, stay involved in this community because it's very important for us. And important for us for business, but also important for us for our employees. At times we can have upwards of 2,000 people working up here. So we want to make this a better place. We want local employees. And so we get involved in quite a few events. You've probably seen our stages all over town. They're hard to miss. Most events has an Aluma Safeway stage up at some point. We do a lot of stuff with the SPCA. We built dog runs this year, so the dogs will have somewhere to go in the colder months. And fencing and just about anything that requires fencing, staging, or barricades. For any of these events, we tend to get involved in them, and we're proud to do it. We're happy to do it.
And you've done some pretty intensive seating arrangements, if I'm not mistaken, in the past as well.
Yeah.
Pretty incredible. So as the leader of Aluma Safeway, what impact does it have on your personnel when they see that as a company you're giving back?
Well, our personnel up here are incredible. They get... it doesn't take long to round up a number of volunteers to do any of the things that we ask them to do. They just love doing it. And it's team building. It brings us a lot closer together. We're like a family unit up here. It's a very fun group to work with, a very engaged group, and a group that wants to get in and help because they all live here as well, and they all have children here, and they all have parents here, and they want to help, and they want to make it better. So our group loves doing it. And as do I.
Yeah. And of course, Fort McMurray has a reputation for giving back. The United Way is a good example that for years and years, it's been the #1 campaign per capita across the country. But Fort McMurray itself has a reputation for being the most giving community potentially in the world. And you recognize that coming in 3 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's the amount of, and not just, Aluma Safeway, when you see everybody in this community get involved, whenever there's a need, the amount of people that are willing to step up and help is incredible here. It's a very, very tight-knit community that wants to help and wants to make this a better place for everybody.
Well, as the chair of the 2018 community campaign, I know you and the board have been having a lot of conversations, and there's certain things that you might be able to share, certain things you may not be able to share, but talk about what you can share about the upcoming campaign.
So our campaign is going to kick off on September 7th. The official campaign launch will be September 7th. We're doing it down at the shipyards. It'll be from 11 a.m. to 1:30-ish p.m., so over lunch. We're going to be having a barbecue. We're encouraging as many people to come out and attend as they can. There'll be some information there about what the United Way does. So if you were like me a year and a half ago and you weren't quite sure what the United Way does, this is a great opportunity to come out and read some of our pamphlets and listen to some of the speakers that'll be there and get an opportunity to understand what we do. And the United Way, there is, a conception that we're just, looking for your dollars. And that's not true as well. We also, people donate a lot of time to Days of Caring events that we have. So, if you don't always have the dollars to give, there's time you can give as well that'll be impactful as well.
What is talk about Days of Caring? What is that exactly?
So any of our agencies or that need a project done, let's say within painting their building or fixing their stairs or any variety of thing like that, a workplace or a group of people can get together and go out and spend as much time as they want doing it. Sometimes it's a couple hours, sometimes it's a full day, and it's a great way for a team building event, or just get a bunch of friends together, and it's a great way to spend an afternoon to go out and help and make a difference.
The other thing that the public as a whole may not know is the number of agencies and programs that the United Way funds on an annual basis. So where are you at in terms of that right now?
So the United Way, impacts probably tens of thousands of people in this community. We have 55 programs that we run through 27 different agencies, some with United Way as well. And those are the main groups that we support, and there's quite a few of them. And within those groups, we help everyone from children all the way up to seniors. So it really can touch anyone in this community, the programs that we do run.
Yeah, it's amazing. My guest this morning is Ken Sandmoen. Ken is the 2018 Community Campaign Chair of the campaign, kicking off on September 7th. Goes for 10 weeks.
10 weeks.
See, I remember that from
Mid-November.
my United Way life. And during that 10 weeks, an incredible effort happens, not just from the United Way core group at the office, but at companies like your own. Aluma Safeway, you have a great team that is planning all kinds of different things.
Yeah, we have a number of workplace events, and we have a number of industry partners that hold a lot of workplace campaigns. There's another number of other private businesses that hold another number of workplace campaigns, including us. So there'll be barbecues, there'll be show and shines, there'll be bingo nights, a lot of things that will encourage people to come out and attend. And there'll be more information coming out about that through our social media sites, whether on Twitter or Facebook, and keep an eye out for those. And we hope we can get a lot of people out to them as well.
Ken Sandmoen is our guest. We're going to take a break, have more of Impact on 91.1 The Bridge right after this. Welcome back to the show. Ken Sandmoen is my guest, the 2018 Community Campaign Chair for the United Way of Fort McMurray and Wood Buffalo. New name.
That's right.
I'm slowly getting used to saying that.
Yes.
It's exciting. Ken, you have been in Fort McMurray three and a half years now. How did you get here? How did you come to Fort McMurray?
Yeah. So as I said, I was with been with the Loomis Safeway, well, Loomis Systems, or now Loomis Safeway, since 2004. In 2015, I was asked to move up here and manage this division for us. So I accepted, and my wife Jennifer, my son Brendan, and my daughter Sydney, the four of us moved up here with a few pets, and we've loved it ever since. We don't want to leave. We've had a habit of moving about every 3 or 4 years, but my wife and kids have said this is the last one. They want to go through, finish high school here for sure. My son's going into grade 9 at McTavish, and excited that he'll be able to go through high school there now. And my daughter's going into grade 6 at a Cole Dickensfield, so excited to be going over to McTavish for grade 7 the following year.
Before that, you lived in Calgary.
Yes.
And before that?
I was in Ottawa for 3 years before that.
So when you compare Ottawa to Calgary to Fort McMurray, is there something different about this place?
There is. It is. This is the most welcoming community we've ever walked into. I think it has a lot to do with everybody. A lot of people here are from somewhere else. There are some born and raised, and I know a few here, but they're far and few between. But the ability to make friends, really good friends, very quickly here blew us away, and we've done that, and that was one of, and not only for me and my wife socially, but for my kids as well. Very welcoming in the schools. They've made a good group of friends that they don't want to leave, and that's I think that was one of the biggest bonuses when we moved here. One of the things you're most nervous about when you move to a new community, because you don't know many people, you don't know anybody at that point. But it was very, very welcoming, and everybody's here to help each other as well. If you have questions about anything, or if you need somebody to look after your dog for a night, there's always somebody willing to do it. So that's a great aspect of this community.
Of course, you've had your education with the United Way, being part of the board, doing Seeing is Believing tours and other projects over the last year and a half. You're about to launch as the chair and representing the United Way at workplace campaign sites across the region. How are you feeling about that?
I feel very good about it. And the reason I feel very good about it is the United Way has such a wonderful staff, and the board of directors are so engaged that we can say I'm the community chair, but in reality, everybody within the United Way steps up during these times. And, you know, the messages of support and desire to help from all of them, and even people outside of the United Way, former United Way members, that have come forward and said, anything you need, what can we do to help? I don't feel I am the community chair, but really everybody is involved in this year. So I feel very, very good about it. Such a strong team working on this together.
Couple weeks from beginning, September 7th is the kickoff. It's a barbecue this time around at the shipyards, the Heritage Shipyards,
yes,
which is on whatever that road's called, Clearwater Drive, maybe. I know it changed. It used to be something else, Prairie Loop Boulevard. So that's a great location.
Oh yeah,
and you can accommodate a lot of people. Talk to me. Last year was the first year of the Red Menu campaign, and it was a really great success. But you've grown a lot in 1 year.
It is one of our most exciting growing campaigns that we have going, the Red Menu campaign. We had 6 establishments last year, and this year we have 11 establishments. So we've almost doubled. So this year we have involved in the Red Menu campaign. We have the Royal Canadian Legion Armory Grill. We have both Boston Pizza locations, and I got a sneak peek at these menus that they're serving, and these things are great. I mean, we got the ribs at Boston Pizza. Moxie's has their location as well. Earl's has both locations, and they got the Dynamite roll on again, so I'm very, very excited about that. Wood Buffalo Brewing Company, when I saw what was on their menu, I can hardly wait to get down there. It's the Rustic Elk Meatloaf is one of the items they've put on. So that sounds great. Stack's Fine Foods has joined us this year as well. And Steve's put the classic grilled Reuben on. So I think I know where I'm going for lunch again. And I just learned that you can get that double stacked. So I haven't tried it double stacked yet, but that'll be my next adventure. Prime is on. Prime Test Kitchen there, and Andy's got as one of the items is a brisket plate, along with many other items, but that brisket plate that's a pretty cool one. Yeah. The Best Western Plus is on with a number of items. Table 63 at the Quality Hotel. Chocolates and Candlelight again, which is a great spot to go if you need an anniversary, birthday, or just any gift for somebody. And Sharika's on the Sny is on too. And they're going to have both a lunch and a dinner menu.
That's great.
Sharika's is. So yeah, we're excited, and we're encouraging people to get out and order off this red menu. If you're going out, these are the places to go to and order off the red menu. So, and for those that don't know, if you order off the red menu, part of the proceeds from what you order do go to the United Way. So growing campaign, and we hope it just continues to get bigger and better.
Oh, just awesome growth for the Red Menu campaign. And that's going to run during the whole campaign? Is that how it works?
It will. Actually, the Red Menu is actually launching September 5th, 2 days early. So
nice.
You're going to start seeing reminders on our social media again and through other places that these are the restaurants that are involved in it. So, we're hoping we can get a lot of people out to them.
I think it's awesome because it encourages going out to local businesses and encourages people to talk to each other about what is this United Way thing. It's win-win all the way around. It
is, yeah. And ask your server, ask the owners, ask the people in the restaurant to make sure that you can look at the red menu when you're there.
We're going to talk about one more event that was inaugurated last year, and it is coming back, but we're going to take another break. Ken Sandmoen is my guest. Ken is the chair of the 2018 Community Campaign for the United Way of Fort McMurray and Wood Buffalo. The campaign starts September the 7th. You are listening to Impact, a team effort of United Way, Fuse Social, Shaw TV, Fort McMurray, YMM Magazine, and 91.1 The Bridge. Welcome back to the show. My guest is Ken Sandmoen, who is the GM of Aluma Safeway here in Fort McMurray. Did I get the right GM? That's what you said?
That's correct,
Yeah,
yes.
And also the chair of the United Way Community Campaign, which is starting on September the 7th. Now, last year, a new event was added sort of to the community campaign calendar, and it was a Family Day event that took place. And what was really cool about the Family Day was it was a chance for the community to meet every single agency of the United Way. Are you guys doing that again?
We are, and it'll be on September 29th at MacDonald Island again. It'll be in the Nexon Field House. The agencies will be set up again. There'll be games for the kids, face painting. There'll be a scavenger hunt, and something exciting this year is Hero Helicopter is going to have their helicopter down there this year. So there may be a chance that if you complete a scavenger hunt that you can enter a draw and might be able to get inside that helicopter this year. So that'll be exciting.
My stomach is going in flip-flops just thinking about that.
We're hoping we can do that, yeah.
Have you ever done one of those helicopter tours of the community?
I have not. I bid on some at some silent auctions, but always wound up getting outbid. So
it's pretty impressive.
Hoping one of these days I can do that.
Very cool. September the 29th, Saturday is my guess. If I recall from last year, it was a weekend.
Yeah, it's on the weekend.
And we had thousands of people turn up last year. And again, if you don't really understand about the United Way and you want to see it firsthand, it's a great opportunity.
It is, and it's a great opportunity to meet with our agencies too and understand the programs that they're running within those agencies and the people, the individuals that they're helping. There'll be agencies there that most people have probably never heard of before, and then you can hear their stories and listen to the impact that they have on individuals, and it's quite powerful. I mean, I met with Stephanie with spinal cord injury last week and listened to her story. She is the sole coordinator up here for spinal cord injury and mobility, and just the struggles that they have in this community with people that need assistance getting around her is amazing how they get through this. So that's just one example. There's many others that you'll be able to see and talk with there, and I think as you asked me earlier, what's an eye-opening moment? I think that would be an eye-opening moment for a lot of people here to come down to that and to listen to what these programs are.
One of the activities that Stephanie coordinates is kind of this wheelchair for a day thing, where you as a functioning person go in a wheelchair and try to get through your day. Oh my gosh. Like, you just have no idea.
I've seen the videos. There's some on YouTube, I think, and if you can go on YouTube, I'm not sure how to get to them, but you wear a GoPro and you got to try to go around the city for a day in a wheelchair. It's quite something. So
it's a good example of a small agency that plays such an important role in terms of advocacy and even policy, promoting policy change. Because the reason we have some barriers is because when you're developing a business, you don't necessarily have to do A, B, and C, but you should. And so Stephanie does a great job of advocating for those things.
She sure does, yes, and working with the council and working with builders and trying to make the community more accessible for everybody, and that's our goal.
The whole story of the United Way, it is a community effort. Your campaign theme this year is local love. Wow, what a great one that is. Talk about, what does that mean to you, local love?
Local love. So to me, local love really means pairing up a donor, whether it is a donor that's donating money or a donor that's donating time, with an individual that they're making a difference with here in the community. Somebody that they're impacting, somebody that they're helping. And that is really the theme of local love this year is we want people that are making a difference to understand why they're making a difference and to see what they're doing. And we hope we can get a number of people involved in that this year.
In the annual report from the United Way are pages and pages of names, people that give through payroll deductions largely, some at that $1,200 a year level and higher. And I think one of the key questions is if somebody's listening here today and they are not necessarily at a workplace that has a workplace campaign, how can people give? How can they get involved and contribute if they feel impassioned to do so?
So it's quite easy. If you want to donate dollars, you can go onto our website, United Way, Fort McMurray, and Wood Buffalo, and there's a Donate Now button. And you can make a one-time donation. You can make a monthly recurring donation. So if you're not involved in a workplace campaign, that is one way you can do it. Second way you can do it is keep an eye on our social media and look for Days of Caring coming up. Or if you have a group of friends or you have a business that is not involved in a workplace and you want to get involved in a Day of Caring and not donate dollars but donate time, call the United Way. Call Jolene Wilson at the United Way. Call Cecilia at the United Way, and we'd be more than happy to help set you up with a Day of Caring, because the needs are there's many ways to give. You've
mentioned the Seeing is Believing tours and the impact that it had on you. Are there opportunities for people out there in the world that to participate in a Seeing is Believing tour?
Absolutely. Those are usually published on our Facebook page. You can see when upcoming ones are. Or if you have a larger group, again, call the United Way, and they would be happy to set one up for you. We have a lot of sponsors that work with us on that, and we can talk to agencies and try to gear it towards what you're looking for, and you can go out and it will change the way that you look at things if you go on one. I highly recommend it.
I remember Dave from Syncrude, who lived here his whole entire life, and he went on his first Seeing is Believing tour, and Salvation Army is often the one that pops up in terms of the example, but he went, I had no idea. I just had no idea. And man, he went on to make such an impact over the couple of years that he was very involved with the campaign. So if you watch for that, if you have an opportunity to do a Seeing is Believing tour, I promise it will change the way you see what the United Way does. So, Ken, when you look at the campaign ahead, imagine, if you will, the campaign is over, the year has passed, and you look back. What's success going to look like for you personally?
Success is going to look like we're going to be able to meet our community need. And, we understand as well that, times have changed somewhat in Fort McMurray. It's not as it used to be. And we still have an incredibly giving community right now. Success will be meeting our need. And the campaign is a critical part to do that. It's critical through these 10 weeks that we do obtain our goals and are able to raise funds to continue with these programs.
Good luck. It's going to be exciting.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ken Sandmoen, for coming in, the chair of the 2018 Community Campaign for the United Way of Fort McMurray and Wood Buffalo. It is officially kicking off on September the 7th. You've been listening to Impact, a team effort of United Way, Fuse Social, Shaw TV, Fort McMurray, YMM Magazine, and we couldn't do any of it without 91.1 The Bridge.